There we go. Welcome, one and all. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being with us, and also thanks to those that tune in and watch this later on
Should
the
go
web.
get a hat.
What's that?
That I should go get a hat.
No, you're fine. And we do have a guest all the way from Australia this morning. So we must
See
be
him up there in the corner. Hey, Mr. Williams.
Yeah. He's not actually a guest, he's a member. He
That's
has his
true.
dues paid up.
So topic this morning is, how do you sign your work? And there's quite a few of us that do have different ways. And it's interesting. We're going to talk about that for a while. The other thing is, all right, everybody grab a pencil and paper. Are you ready? You're going to have to write this down. Pete Lang sent me a link to a nice site, and it goes through and it lists and talks about all the ways to sign your wood and the pluses and minuses of each of them. So it's a nice little article to read. The site you go to is all one word run together, and it's all small case, not caps, turnawoodbowl.com. And then you do a backslash. I guess it's a forward slash. The number 9, a hyphen, mistakes, mistakes, another hyphen, wood, another hyphen, bowls, BOWLS. So when you get a chance afterwards, check out that site. There's a bit of advertising on it, but you can read through the article, and it talks about all the various pros and cons and what to do and what not to do. So with that, should we get started? Anybody want to start and talk about how they do it?
Yeah, I'm up the top left corner, so I'll start. So I had a lot of trouble signing stuff, and I was always jealous when I saw, Kathy's and Ken's and everybody's real nice. So I asked how they did it. Most people use Pyro, to do it, but I don't know if I don't have the right attachments or a steady hand or what. So I tried it. It didn't work too good. So when I bought this, micro. Can y'all see this? It's a micro engraver at Harbor Freight. Man, let me tell you, this thing. Oops.
He froze.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Well,
I couldn't help Jim with his audio, so I'll have to go over to his house sometime and get it set up. I think his microphone is muted within Zoom, and his screen is not showing what my screen shows. So he's going to just listen to us today.
okay.
It looks like Dave is trying to get reconnected.
Hello.
Hello.
There he is.
I'm here. I don't see myself anymore, but that's okay. I didn't want to look at myself anyway. Anyway, I don't know where I lost, but I have this. Can y'all see this?
No,
No, we don't
can't.
see your video. We have, it's
Oh
showing
my
that you have
gosh.
2 items two iPads connected right now.
This Zoom thing sucks. I don't know. Start video.
There you
we
go.
There you are. There you went.
Ridiculous. Okay, we're okay now?
Yep.
Sorry about that, guys. So I don't know where I left off, but I bought this little vibro thing and it doesn't work good. It follows the grain of the wood. It digs in. It's really, maybe I wasn't using the right wood, but anyway, I thought that would do really good. And what I was going to do is I was going to like vibro peen my name in there. And then I saw these neat crayons. These are like fill-in paint lacquer sticks. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. I'm sure you have these lacquer stick things. And Cindy Drozda uses these. She puts her name. I think she uses like a vibro pin or something, and then she uses this wax and puts over it this gold wax, and then wipes it, and then it leaves a nice, gold name. But and that didn't work so good for me. So I got these branding irons on the internet. You can heat these up and stick them on, and Chuck taught me a neat trick. Is you take the handle off and you put this in a drill press, and then heat it up. And then when you put your bowl underneath, you use a drill press. It goes down straight, and you can just touch it, lift it up. If you haven't got enough, you can touch it a little more, lift it up, and keep doing it until you get a good brand on there. My daughter, she felt sorry for me Christmas time, and she bought me this. This is an electric one. You plug it in, and 6 hours later, you can stamp your thing with it. It takes that long to heat up. It's not very good. Don't waste your money on these. And then I went from that to using, to using a laser. So now I use my laser to mark my stuff. That's it.
How complicated is it to program a laser?
I didn't find it hard at all because I use a graphic that was already made, an SVG, and you just put that into the software and get it the size that you want. The hardest part about the laser, especially if you have something round, a round bowl, is getting it centered. It's not that hard. What I did was I took a piece of paper and I traced the bowl, and then I find the center of that on the piece of paper in the laser, and use a laser, and I fire it and make sure it's centered on the piece of paper. And then I put the bowl back on the piece of paper and line it all up, and then hit go, and it's lined up in the middle.
What's the
Yeah.
maximum height you can use put in there on the bowl?
Well, what you do is you put on my laser, you just add extensions to the feet of your laser, and you keep lifting it up higher and higher and higher. You can do a 6 foot tall bowl if you got long enough feet. That you got to get the bowl underneath the laser. So it's not hard.
Cool. Thanks.
It's actually pretty easy. And what you can do is you can take your signature and you can create an SV.
There he goes again.
Tries it again.
All kinds of technical problems this morning.
This freezing sort of reminds me of when Dave Williams and Kathy and I used to, in essence, Zoom, but using Skype. It would freeze and it would do all sorts of things that Zoom didn't do. So it's sad to see Zoom is doing that now.
You're muted, Dave.
How about that?
That works.
It's like when you get a dropped call and you don't know if they heard what you said, how much you got to go back and repeat.
The
So
last thing I remember, you said something about good morning. Let me tell you about my,
okay. Well, I remember y'all asked how much capacity the laser could take.
yeah, we
Did
got
you
the about raising the feet.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where I left off. Then everybody froze up.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, that's about all I got. I gotta pause and plug my laptop in here because it's gonna die. So
Okay,
that means I gotta go find the cable. Oh my gosh.
all right. Who else
Similar
wants to talk to
to
us?
similar to what Dave just showed is the emblem at the end of a soldering iron. A few years back, our son had one specially 3D printed with my name or initials, and it was intended to fit on the end of a standard soldering iron. And there's two problems that came up. One is it was too big for what I wanted to use it for. And so it was much harder to get it straight on the wood. And because it didn't have the rod on it, it had a cup that would fit over the end of the soldering iron. Second thing is the soldering iron just wouldn't get hot enough. So I chuckled at Dave 6 hours later. Well, with this one, it almost never got hot enough. So
Yeah, and that one was
that is
designed
not
for it.
really, in my mind, a good option. I have not used it since the first trials because it just didn't work very well for me.
Have you tried to chuck it up, say in a drill press, and then use a torch to heat it?
No, I never did do that. That would be a good option and would probably work better than on the end of the soldering iron. But again, it turns out this particular device was just much too big for what I wanted. Also related to what Dave shared with us, when I was learning how to do segmenting, the instructor I had routinely used those lacquer paint sticks. He would sign with a paint stick. The problem you have to be careful of is if you then go over it with, if you wipe it with some acetone, it all goes away. And some finishes would make it blur. So paint sticks are an option, but you have to be careful what finish you put on it.
Well, along those, I use a paint pen to sign mine. I used to use a felt tip marker, but that rubbed off too easy. So now I have a black and a white paint pen, and it's actually paint on a type of a felt tip marker, and that does not come off very easily. I thought about using the branding irons, the engravers. Personally, I find that a little bit too impersonal. So I like to have a signature on there. And with the, like Dave said, with the engravers, I'm just not steady enough, or the grain is not right for me to get a decent signature. Now, I've seen some of you guys that do it with the engraver, and it's like Larry O'Brien, his is perfect. Really envious of his, but I'll never be able to produce it like that. But the paint pens work well for me.
Okay, I started out with using a Sharpie, and I didn't really like that. It just I don't know, I didn't like it. It just kind of seemed like it was a little cheap to me, but it worked. But I was always worried about it just kind of rubbing off or getting blurred. So then I moved on to uh, well, I had a branding iron like Dave was showing earlier, but I could never get the I didn't have the electric one. I had to heat it up with a torch, um, and I could never get it right. If you do one side looks good and then the other side is not not very good, and you try to do it a second time, it's not going to work. I never got it perfectly back on there to get it uniform. So eventually I went on to a Burnmaster, which is what I use now. Oh, and I did try before I went to the Burnmaster. Barry has one of those laser engravers, and he on the bottom of a bowl he put my name and the type of wood with the engraver, and that looks fabulous, really beautiful. But it went to the other extreme. It just went almost like it's a professional, maybe in a factory or something, and it looked fantastic. But like David, I would like for it to be more personable. So I went to the Burnmaster, experimented with that, and yes, I do have problems with the tip, um, trying to follow the grain, and especially open grains like I don't know, oak, ash, mesquite, the open grain, and the tip just kind of falls into that open grain portion. Um, Stuff like maple and walnut works so much better. But um, the way I fix that, or my remedy, is to do it very lightly the first pass when I write my first name, and then I go back a second time and just kind of touch in on the letters, and it seems to work. I still have a little bit of a uh, problem with it falling into those grain, but I like that much better than anything else I've tried. So Burnmaster, and it's a quality burn tool, and I have not tried the Burnmaster with anything else. I know some of the others use the Burnmaster for embellishing, but so far that's what I use Burnmaster for, just signing. That's it.
Mark, if I can follow up on that, I too use a Burnmaster. And what I found was that the tip you use, there's two things. The tip you use is very significant, and the how well you've sanded the signing area is very significant. You need to sign so it's a very smooth surface. I go up to 600 grit if I can. But there's also different tips, and I have some here to show you. I don't know if you can see that. This is a typical Burnmaster tip. They're replaceable, and this is the one that they describe as a 1/16 inch tip. Well, with that, I've been able to get something signing on the order of, that kind of size of lettering. Then I discovered that Razor Tip has other tips available, and with the right adapter, you can use these with the Burnmaster. So this one is a 1/16 inch ball tip writing pen, as opposed to the 1/16 inch, where is it? Which is just the bent wire writing tip. And this worked better, but I found, well, smaller is better in this case. So I found a 32nd inch tip. I don't know if you can see that. That's considered a 32nd of an inch ball tip. And even better is a 64th of an inch ball tip. And this is the one I use routinely now. And it gives me very small lettering. You can maybe see here, as opposed to this one. So now I routinely use this very small 64th inch ball tip with my Burnmaster. And other than my handwriting, I'm pleased with the way it performs.
I use the one that you showed there, the 64th inch. That's
Yeah.
the one I use. And it works for me.
It
Is
works
that
for me
also
too.
available? Is that also available from Burnmaster, or do you have to get that somewhere else?
You have to buy that through, it's a razor tip. You can buy them through Craft Supplies and probably other places too that carry razor tip products. But
It's actually Tree Line, not.
yeah,
Craft
Tree
Supply.
Line, yeah, not Craft Supply, but Tree Line, the Craft Supply wood carving part. The key is that the tip, you need an adapter, a male to male adapter, because Burnmaster has a female end on the end of the cable. So you need the male to male adapter to fit into the female end of the razor tip. That's the only downside. That's readily available as an adapter.
While we're talking about the Burnmaster, the I don't have it with me here, but the handle that you're holding on to will get pretty warm and hot, you know.
Yes.
So I just wanted to pass on something that I found that works. Um, I bought on Amazon, I bought some I don't know what it's made of, but it's like a neoprene sleeve that goes over the fingers. These three fingers, my thumb, index, and middle finger, and it fits down over the length like that. And when I hold on to uh, the handle, I don't get that burning sensation that you will get if you hold on to it. And maybe I'll run out to the workshop and get that so I can show it to you. If you do any work at all with a Burnmaster, highly recommended getting some of those.
And Mark,
I'll
I
go
would
get
like
that.
to know what that is, because
Yes,
yes, they do
I'll
get hot.
I'll go get that and show it to you.
Thank you.
One of the things that the article talked about that I gave you the link to, he talked about the various size tips and he never was happy with it. He switched and went to a knife edge tip to do his signing. And he likes the way that came out. So if you get a chance later, check that article out and see if that's something maybe you want to try.
I'm curious to know how he uses that knife edge, because he would probably have to use just the point. And the problem with a knife edge like that is it's actually going to cut the wood as you're burning it. So you better be right the first time.
Ken, so what was that 64th inch tip called?
The brand is Razor Tip, and it's 64th inch is also a 0.4 millimeter. And I got this through Tree Line, but the razor tip number here is F99.004. And you can probably find that razor tip pin other places other than Tree Line. One nice thing about razor tip is the first one I bought somehow failed. I sent it back to Tree Line and they replaced it free of shipping right away. So they told me at Tree Line that razor tip is very reputable, and I've had no problems with them since then. Did that get the info you wanted, Susan?
Mark's back. You got it, Mark?
Yeah, I'm back. So before I show you the product I was speaking of, here's the handle, and it does have a rubber sleeve right here that it does help. Without that rubber sleeve, it'd probably be really hot. But I found that when I was holding the the handle here, and trying to write, it got so hot, really warm, and I was trying different things to kind of keep the heat away from my fingers. So I did a little research and found this product. It's called Heat Shield, and I'm going to show it to you here. The little sleeves I was talking about, finger sleeves or whatever they call them, but it comes with three little things that fit over. One of them is marked thumb, so that goes over the thumb here. I'll get them on here. There's one, and then you put them on the others, the middle finger and the index finger. Okay, so there they are. So with that on my fingers, then I hold my my wand. You can see that my fingers are protected. Say it all the way around, and I don't feel any heat at all when I'm using the iron. So if probably Ken can attest to the fact that, you know, it gets really warm, you know, kind of hot. And so anyway, that's that works for me. So those little things that I can't remember what I paid for it, but it's well worth the money, let me tell you. So there I am, you know, and ready to sign. I'm not sure what this is made of on the back here. I don't know what the neoprene or whatever, but it's a protection material.
Where did you get that, Mark?
Amazon.
Amazon.
The
What's the
brand
pack-
name on the back is Jatai, Jatai Heat Shield.
I'm going to look into that because Razor Tip also has a foam pad. It's supposed to reduce the heat, and it does some, but it's still significant, just like Mark's explaining for the Burn Master. So that would be a very nice one that wouldn't depend on what pen you're actually using. I like that.
This one is medium to large. I think probably most hands that would probably work. They also have on the back, there's a sizing chart you can see right here. A medium, large, you put your thumb or finger there, and then the bigger ones. And with Amazon, if you get one size and it doesn't work, you can always send it back. But medium to large work for me. But there's other information about the product on the back of the a box here. If anybody's interested in looking at this box and the fingertips, I can bring it on Tuesday if you like.
I
Sure.
just looked it up on Amazon. It is it is easy to find that one. I also looked up Pete Lang's link that you gave earlier, Bruce, and it doesn't work. So if you have a link, send it to me. But
You mean
yeah,
a link
that's a
to
good idea,
this?
Mark.
A link to this you're
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah, I found that one, but I didn't find the one that Bruce said earlier about that Pete Lang sent. That didn't work.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, these are easy to find. They're only $13 on Amazon. So good find, Mark.
Well, that's why that's what's so nice about this Chips and Grits, you know, sharing information and what works. So that was it, Bruce. I just thought I'd share that.
Thank you, Mark. That's worth the price of admission.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to have to buy a set of those now.
Yeah, Kathy, did you see what the price was on when you looked it up?
You're muted, Kathy.
$13.10, and they can be delivered tomorrow.
There you go. See, it's well worth the money.
They're already in my cart, Ken, so.
Boy, you're
Thank you,
quick.
Kathy.
But you don't get them till Christmas. No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, but Ken may want to order some for him too.
Yeah,
I got
may have
this.
to.
I got this wood burning kit. It's not a very expensive one from, what was it, Walnut Hollow, and it don't burn my fingers at all. But the smallest tip that it had was a 1/16 ball. I couldn't get one any smaller, and that 1/16 ball just, I had trouble with it following the grain, but yeah, this one heats up, but it don't get your fingers hot. I don't know why.
Dave, what kind of electrical connector does that have? Is it an RCA connector?
No, it connects directly to the unit, so it's kind of hardwired to the unit. I think can you see that in the picture? They got the
Yeah.
controller there, and the wire comes off the controller. It goes directly to the gun, to the handle. So it doesn't come apart. It's all hardwired. But you
Well,
can
that
replace
wouldn't
the
take a
tips on it.
razor tip type of fitting then.
Yeah, it uses these tips. I don't know if those look like the razor ones or not. A two-prong
When you
plug
get
in.
into the wood burning world, there's a myriad of tips available, and
Yeah.
some of them are replaceable like that. Some, like the wood razor tips, are not. You have to buy the whole pin. Burnmaster, they're replaceable tips. Looks like what you have there is one with the replaceable tips. So you have one pin, multiple tips. You get into the wood burning world, and you've got lots and lots of options.
So what do you guys think is better, through the brands, the Burnmaster or the Razor Tip, for a person who doesn't have any wood burning?
Burnmaster.
You went to mute, Ken.
Burnmaster is a good one. It's kind of middle to upper price range. It has a very good range of temperatures, so you can go all the way from barely touching or barely heating the wood to flaming the wood. It's got a variable knob on it. But there's a number of different units out there. Coldwood makes a good one. Burnmaster makes a good one. I was going to say razor tip, but I think they only make the wood burning tips. But we can do a different discussion offline, because I don't have all that info here, but there's a number of, the Burnmaster is primarily the transformer and variac to adjust the temperature. Then you add pins to it to do whatever you're trying to burn, because you can use it for not just signing things, but for wood burning pictures, for example. So it's hard to say what's best. It kind of boils down to what's good enough and within the depths of your pocket, because you can go really, really deep in those pockets for some of the wood burner systems.
So with just signing by, a paint pen or a Sharpie, would you then want to put a sealer over it so it doesn't come off?
David, you'll have to answer that one.
Mhm.
The paint pens, I do not have to put a finish over, and they write on almost any finish. Because it's actually paint, not ink. It's pretty durable.
Is there a certain brand you use, Dave?
There is, but I have no idea what it is offhand.
Okay. When you're back.
And they do dry up fairly quickly. But there's, shake them, push the tip, you can revive them.
Susan, to answer your question, if you're wood burning, it's important to wood burn on wood without any finish on it beforehand. Because if you put the finish on, it kind of boils and it makes the signature very difficult. So to answer your question, yeah, you do seal it after.
And that's a good differentiation between David can seal after it's finished, but if you're wood burning, you must finish, or you must wood burn before finishing. So it's a sequence thing here that's important to keep in mind.
So the same thing is true with the Sharpie. Is that true that you don't put finish on first, you finish afterwards to seal it?
No, because the Sharpie ink will run or smear with the finish.
Okay,
So
so paint pen's
when
better.
yeah, paint pen's better.
Do you get those at Michael's or where do you get them?
Amazon.
Amazon? Okay, of course.
Another consideration is not just smearing, but Sharpies are not archival. They will deteriorate over time, whether it's in UV light or not. So a Sharpie is a temporary signature at best. So most people stay away from the Sharpie for that reason.
And you mentioned the term archival. I think that's what what these pens are called, or archival purposes or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and that
gone-
simply means that it won't be deteriorated over time. And so you want to look for that as your
Using the Burn Master, I've done it both ways. Put it on the raw wood, and then after I put a finish on, and they both worked. I try to remember to sign it before I put the finish on. And I don't know why. Maybe it works better, but I don't see much of a difference. But if I don't remember to put it on the raw wood before I finish, then maybe I put 2 coats on. I go ahead and sign it, and then I finish over the top of that, and it works. But certainly wouldn't work on like the Sharpie or something like that, I guess. But using the Burn Master, it did work.
I have only once or twice tried to burn over top of a poly finish. And as Spence pointed out, it kind of bubbled the finish. And it was giving off some gases that just didn't, I don't think they would be very healthy. So I opt to always try to remember to do it before putting a finish on. It may be different if you have other finishes. For example, lacquer may behave differently. Or if you've got an oil finish, I would think it's going to vaporize some of the oil. And there again, it may be a health hazard. May look okay, but it could be bad for your health. So I still just try to always do it on bare wood.
Right, and I wasn't doing it on a poly finish. It was a General Finishes Armor Seal, which is basically a shellac, and I didn't have any problem with it. But I think you're right. It might depend on the type of finish.
So David, I have a question for you. I looked at paint pens on Amazon and they have oils, they have acrylics, and they have different types. Are you using an acrylic or do you know what it is?
I can't answer that right offhand. When I get back home, I'll take a look at them and I'll send you a link to what they are.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
David, didn't you say lacquer pen?
No, he just said paint pen, but there's a lot of different kinds.
So
Yeah.
these little things from Cindy Droza that she recommends, these are lacquer. And
Okay.
it's weird because they're kind of hard, but once you break the outer hardness, they stay soft on the inside. So it use it to fill in, like if you vibropene signature. You can fill it in with this and then wipe it off, and it will get hard. And
What brand is that one, Dave?
this one is called Lacquer Stick.
Okay.
Lacquer Stick, STIK, Lacquer dash stick, paint stick. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, but it's got to have a depression to fill it, and then you wipe it off, and then it leaves whatever color. I didn't have much success with it, but
Well, that's helpful. That's off the list now.
yeah, scratch it. Don't even. But Cindy
That's too
Drozer
bad.
does a beautiful job. She signs her name. She puts the gold. It's gorgeous. So,
It's too bad Dan Hall's not with us today because I think he has an engraving technique that he uses that's very good each time. Does anybody know anything about that one?
Mm-mm.
very secretive, that guy Dan.
Well, he's also hiding out in Wisconsin right now. So
Mm.
no, they're on their way to Minnesota. It'll be a while. Susan, I was going to say, if you want to try a burn master sometime next time you're over at our house, go ahead. I'll have it out and you have it available to try it. See if you like it before you buy. They're around $250 or $300 now. And then tips like tools always cost one more too.
Kathy,
On that,
I just sent you a link, Kathy, to the pins I use.
I'll let everybody know too, after I do this month's demo on Basket Illusion, I'm going to do the follow-up, the Tuesday demo at our place where you can do your own, you can try the wood burning part or the inking part or the beading part. So I do have a burn master and you're welcome to play with it when you come over for that Tuesday demo.
Can you get some of those little silicone fingers before then so we don't burn our fingers?
I don't know, you have to ask Kathy about that.
Depends on when his birthday is.
Well, I'll have to buy a few sets. They might rip some of them off while they're practicing. Take a few with them. Okay, I did get that link, and Bruce, thanks for the other link too. Thanks.
Yeah, two things. Kathy pointed out, grab your pens and pencils. I screwed up on the link that I gave you on where to go to get that article. It has, when you get to the point that says 9-mistakes, the next word should be signing. And then a dash, wood, dash, bowls. Sorry about that. Now, the other thing, when I sign my work, I got a pen from the art store. Does that come out the right way for you guys?
Back it up a little bit, Bruce. There you go.
And this comes from the art store over on 6th Street. It is an acrylic. And counter to all the stuff that you guys are talking about, I don't sign mine until they're finished. And then it's got the little tip on the pen. Hang on a minute. And it fills with a little more. Wood fibers have a tendency sometimes to plug them up. I've plugged up one, but I got another one and it's been working fine for a couple of years now. And I like this approach. The advantage is with this, I can sign it. And there are some times, we sign it, we take it to Tuesday morning, we pass it around. And then somebody happens to point out the fact that, wait a minute, this is poplar wood, not popular wood. And so if you make a spelling error, you can take it back. A little bit of hairspray will take off the part you don't like, and you can put the right part back on. So that's how I sign mine. I've not had an issue with it fading or going away. And I like this because I can sign it. And I'm okay with the way the text looks and everything. As opposed to when you do a wood burner or engraver, it's kind of jerky and irregular. So that's what I've used to sign my work.
I like that one. I like that one because the tip is finer than the paint pens. And on the paint pens, I may have misspoken. I sign it after I finish it, not before.
And so when you're signing it, you put your name, the type of wood, and do you put the year of when you made it?
No,
That's
I just put my name on it. Since I sell my work, I don't want one to have a date 2 years old and trying to sell.
Yeah, that's a good topic to get into. That's one of the things the article talks about too. And he goes through a complicated coding process for his work, so he can tell what it is. But somebody that picks it up won't look at it and say, this is 2 years old. How about a 50% discount? But yeah, he recommends that depending on what you're doing with it, you ought to sign the piece. Maybe somebody likes what they bought. They want to chase you down and buy another one. Maybe you're creating something that ends up becoming an heirloom in the family. And so he talks about how to sign it, how to code it for the date, so that you know what's going on, but it's not that obvious to the casual observer. So, and always, if you can, put on what the type of wood is, because people are always interested in knowing that.
By the way, a little footnote here regarding Turner Wood Bowl. If you've never gone to his website, his name is Kent Weekly, and he is really fantastic. He's a great teacher and has some really fantastic videos in just about every part of wood turning. So just a little footnote along with signing, but I like watching him.
Hey guys, I gotta bail out. I got work to do now, so
We'll get them fires put out, buddy.
Thanks for joining us, Dave.
all right, I appreciate it. Thanks for talking to us, guys. I'll see you later.
Let's
Alrighty.
go get dinner when you get home.
We'll do it. All right.
Right.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, what else people have?
I got my wife signed mine. You can't read my signature. See, and she uses what you got me. It's a pen, but she picks up at Michael's or one of them. It's archival pens, and she signs it for me because you can't read mine. I got both shoes on when I'm trying to sign it.
I can't even get my wife to make me a sandwich.
Well, I don't know why, but she's been doing it ever since I started these about 20 years ago. But that's how I sign them. You can read her signature, and
So
we
we
put
can-
the date and wood and on it.
So if we like that technique, we can bring our stuff over there and she can sign ours too.
Yeah, it sounds really good to me. You know, I got a little drive to get to me. But that's how I do it. Hey, I got a problem with a bowl here.
What do you got?
Can you see it?
Sure.
See that hole in the side?
Yeah.
I had a little bark inclusion on it. And soon as it's a piece of olive that I got from treated off of Central. No, it's about 120-year old. This is a limb. And when I seen the bark on there, but as soon as I started turning it down, it got deeper and deeper. And then it finally went through. Is there any way to repair that?
Yeah, what color epoxy you want in there?
Well, it's you see that hole, I can stick my thumb through it.
Yeah, that's all right. We can fill it with epoxy.
You can fill that with epoxy, huh?
Yeah, you can pick the color.
Oh, maybe that's what I got to do. But
I've got some epoxy and I've got a pressure pot. And
okay,
when you bring it up, we can talk about it. And that's one option to do.
okay.
That would be the easiest, in my opinion.
I
Can you-
I told the wife it was the spirit hold in the bowl. You know,
No,
like the Indians do.
that's-
Put a hole.
That's for those who are on a diet.
Oh. But it's beautiful wood, but
Oh yeah, if it's olive, it is gorgeous.
it is. I've never seen so much pretty grain in my life as out of this tree.
Hey, Bill, some people actually like leaving those voids. And, you know, they just say, well, it's the natural part of the wood. But I agree with Bruce. Putting some epoxy in there, you can choose lots of different colors, and you can also add some little swirls. I do that in some of my work, just to give it visual interest. So, now Bruce has got the answer for you there.
You have to put the epoxy in there before you end up with a big hole.
Nope.
Okay.
There's a
Does it
way.
still have a tenon on it so you can remount it?
Yeah.
Another
okay
idea,
then.
Bill, is you can make it into a yarn bowl.
Make a yarn bowl out of it, huh?
A yarn bowl.
All you have to do is sand that hole out smooth.
Yeah, if you make
Well-
it smooth and maybe put just, it would be a new style.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
that sounds like the easiest.
That's what I was thinking.
But no, I was turning away, and it finally just that bark went clear inside. But the old tree is 120 years old, they say. But this is probably a 50-year limb, what I got. But
Hey,
it's
Bill.
beautiful wood.
Got to back it up a little bit. Little bit.
Bruce, you might have to take the blur off
Yeah,
for us
that's what
to
I'm
see
looking.
that in focus.
Where do I do that? Do you remember?
Go down to the video icon and the up arrow.
There we
One
go.
of the pop-up.
Bill, there's what I filled on a bowl.
Okay.
Spence started this bowl. We tried to fill it with epoxy twice. It didn't work. I tried it once. It didn't work. Finally, the fourth time, it finally worked. And it
Okay.
went all the way through.
Yeah. Well, I still can mount this on a lathe, so I could probably fill that and make it work.
One of the things, oh, this is a good time of year to talk about that too. One of the things that makes very good forms and molds for putting epoxy into things like that is former campaign signs. You pick a few of those up, you can cut them apart, slice the one side because they're honeycombed. It bends around nicely to the shape of the object, seal it up with hot glue, fill it with epoxy, and away you go.
While we're on
Okay.
that subject of the campaign signs, is it generally acceptable to just after the election go around and pick those, get those, or
No, it's not. That's considered a form of theft. But
yeah,
you can possibly go down to one of the, like, I don't know, say the Republican committee local office. They may have a collection of these older signs and ask them for some. But just taking them off the street is a no-no.
I thought
Yes.
about calling whoever's name was on that sign and ask them, hey, after the election, can I get that sign? So but for the reason that you just stated, I didn't want to attempt, doing it without asking,
They're
so
probably gonna
Yeah,
ask
that's
you
the
who
best
you
way to
voted
do
for,
it.
Mark.
what were you
One of the
saying, Dave?
reasons,
I said they're gonna ask you who you voted for first.
one of the reasons you really should not do that is because these politicians pay somebody to go put these signs out, and then they pay them to pick them up once the election is over. So you're kind of interfering with that business process.
But I understand if you get a hold of the person that does, puts them out and takes them back, they're more than willing to let you have your pick of what you want once they've done their thing.
Is everybody getting cut off or just me?
Mine so far, so I don't what it is.
Now, Dave, you're the special one today.
I guess I keep losing you guys. So Ken, you were saying that they pay you for that. So Mark, you find out who pays you, and they'll pay you to go pick up on them signs. That's a win-win right there. You get the signs and you get paid for it.
Yeah, that could be supplemental income, I guess, huh?
Yeah, sign me up.
The one thing that is interesting is apparently those that do have that business, they have the right to put the sign in that particular spot. So whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what I've heard.
I'm gonna have to leave you guys. I gotta go to PT.
Okay, sir. Thanks for joining
All
us.
right.
Good to see you, Bill.
Take care.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys next time.
All righty. What else we got this morning?
Oh, Susan, I want to see your wig stand. Did you bring it in? It's all decorated. Nice.
Look how nice that is.
Say something, Susan, so it goes highlight.
Very nice.
Little tree leaf, and it has it's like just a branching with leaves, and then it has a couple little birds that are sitting on a tree leaf. But yeah,
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I need it. I was getting the ideas on how to sign it.
Very nice.
Susan, is that painted?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like paint. Okay.
yeah, because I wasn't happy with the grain on the poplar, but so I just used a regular acrylic paint, and then I hand did all of the leaves with an acrylic paint. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then I sealed it.
It looks nice. It's very
For those
cheerful.
who may not know, that's the result of Women in Turning workshop that Kathy organized at Yavapai College just, what, week and a half ago,
Last
2
week.
weeks ago, last week, that they're making these wig stands and they'll be donated to an organization that WIT has nationwide, I believe.
Mhm.
So that's the first of several. So
Good work.
look
Really
forward
good
to
work.
more of them.
Yeah, we'll share more about it as we're learning more. So we're just at the beginning of that step. So, but we had 7 women who made one, so that's a good start.
But yeah, I was just waiting for this to see how I should sign it. So I gotta go. I like the paint pen idea, if that's something I can get right away. So
Yeah.
I'll get getting some of those.
Yeah, I get mine at the Sixth Street Craft Shop.
Mhm.
The art
So-
store, is that the art?
Yeah, the
store?
art store there.
And what brand was that, Bruce?
MOLOTOW.
Is that up in Prescott? Where's this art supply store?
Sixth Street.
Street. Got no
Let's
idea
see.
where Sixth
You know where
Street is.
Galbraith Lumberyard is? On the bend?
We
What else
talking
is it?
PV or in Prescott?
Prescott.
Prescott.
Okay.
It's it's around on a bend. And it's, if you're,
Foxworth, Galbraith.
that's it,
Yeah.
that's it.
Mhm.
Just down the street from that, on the opposite side of the street. It's back in a little mall thing.
That's a little side street that you have to get off to it from either Montezuma. or-
No, not a side street, just an entrance off that. Oh, and listen, here's the best part of it all. You can save time. While you go there, there's a tattoo shop right next door, so you can get two for the price of one. Get your tattoo and go next door and get your art pen.
Do they get the ink from the same place, the tattoo place?
You know, I hadn't thought about that.
Hey, I got something to throw out there. Have you guys seen this yet? This Krylon clear glaze. This stuff is, wow. It's a high gloss finish. It goes on like you spray it on like lacquer, but it's like 3 times thicker than lacquer. And it flows and it dries quick, and it does a beautiful job. It's like thick. You can see depth, you know, it looks like it's depth. It's really cool.
Can you
Dave,
do
does that
fewer
have any
coats?
UV resistance?
I don't know. Let's see. Triple thick, lends a bright, clear coating, gives the illusion of depth. Just one coat equals about 3 coats of other spray finishes. Won't crack. Provides a durable protection and gloss to many surfaces. Low humidity, directions after use. Doesn't say anything so far about UV protection. That's not one of its advertising features.
The reason I ask is Krylon has, I just learned of this. I haven't used it, haven't bought it, but they do have an archival quality UV resistant spray. It's possibly very similar to what you have there.
Yeah, I don't think this is the UV one, but boy, it sure made it. I sprayed it on I made this little gift thing. It holds a wine bottle. And I sprayed it on that. It's a piece of Wenge. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Where'd you pick that up at?
Just at Hobby Lobby.
Okay.
Down in the paint section of Hobby Lobby.
Dave, being that thick, do you have any problems with drips?
No, it didn't drip at all. I suspended it with a string with a tack stuck into it, you know, and just kind of spun it slowly and it flowed and it didn't drip. It dried pretty quick. Did a really nice job. Shiny and thick.
Thanks
By
for the
the-
tip.
By the way, the store on Sixth Street, it's called the Art Store.
Oh,
And they give us a discount. It's not on our supporting vendors page, but we arranged for them a while back. If you mention Prescott area Woodturners, the owner said he would give us a 10% discount.
cool.
And I've made use of that and they do give that discount.
Yeah,
So Dave, you just have to plug it into your GPS.
Okay, 6th Street or 6th Avenue?
Street.
it's yeah, you're right, Sixth Street.
Okay, I'll find it.
Yeah, I might be able to get the address here.
I can find Google it.
Yeah.
Google Maps will find it.
Google Maps, find the art
The art
store.
store. Yeah, they'll find it.
It's across the street from Foxworth Gilbreth, the lumber store.
Right on.
What else we got this morning?
Just like everyone else, I've been experimenting with different ways to engrave. And my hand's not that steady. So what I found out to be successful is the laser engraver. I'm showing an example there. I don't know, can you see that?
Yep,
Nice.
it's beautiful.
Nice.
And it may look somewhat commercialized, but the thing is you can import different images into it and add that to it to give it more of a personalized feel. The one that I use is Laser Pecker. And it comes with a program called Laser Pecker Creative Design, or I'm sorry, Laser Pecker Design Space. And it's model LP2. And it does a decent job for it. I'm still playing around, finding what way seems to work the best, but there's an example of it.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Absolutely.
Do you have, Bob, do you have any problems setting up for using your laser?
No, not really. And again, it can be used for any size. The base itself can be moved around to different angles, so you can have deeper ones or wider ones. You just need to maintain a distance of 110 millimeters from the laser to the object. And really very versatile.
Does that brand also have something like for laser etching on pins, so it'll roll the
Absolutely.
pin?
Absolutely. That particular one you can use on all kinds of different things. Pens, glass, wood, of course, metal, aluminum. And it wasn't
Good
a
to
bad
know.
price.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that.
How much was your laser?
How much?
Uh-huh.
It was $7.99.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I've been having fun with my laser. I was thinking about, if you have something like a beads of courage bowl, which I'm getting ready to start making once I get the segments lined out. I'm gonna use my laser to put, like a saying or something on it. I mean, if I had to like write all that with a pen or something like that, that'd be a bit much, I think. But Chuck did that on his beads of courage bowl. He put a nice, nice saying on the bottom, a little inspiration.
And he's gone.
It's an inspirational.
How does Dave hold this pose so well?
Must have a muscle cramp or something. There he's back.
My Zoom keeps freezing. I don't know why. But anyway, I was saying Chuck did that with his laser. He put a saying on the bottom and it came out real nice. I wouldn't want to try
Dave,
to do that with anything else.
What brand of laser do you have, Dave?
I have a Creality Falcon 2. It's just a 12 watt. But it's 12 watt output. So some of them, they say, 20 watt, but it's only 20 watts in and 3 watts out. So you got to be careful if you buy a laser to know exactly what the output is. But yeah, I've been having fun with it. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of the software. And let's see.
And what did yours cost?
And you remember to set the focus. I don't know how many times I've gone to burn something and gotten halfway started and realized I didn't set the distance from the laser to the substrate, and it was either burning it up or not burning it at all. And you froze up again.
The one that I have is only 5 watts and it does everything that I need it to do. And the nice thing is you can center it either by a center dot that comes off the laser or by a rectangular image.
And it is the laser pecker, is that the laser or that's the software?
What's that?
I just wondered if laser pecker was the software or if it's the laser.
No, I think that's the model.
It's both in this case.
Oh, it's both?
LaserPecker makes their own software,
Uh,
and the model of the one that I have, they have different ones, is LP2. And I'm sorry, it's more like $6.99, not $7.99.
the software I use is Lightburn, and Ken, you asked what this one cost. I think it was like 800, something like that. I bought a couple of extra features with it, like a cover, different things like that. So probably right at 1,000 for the whole setup.
Well, I note that more and more of our members are going with lasers. I'm curious to know how many people actually do have them now.
Yeah, Barry's a real good source for laser. Chuck's got one, he's using it. I know Rick's got, I don't think Rick has one.
Yeah, he does.
Does he? I know Bob
Uh,
Zim's got one, but he hasn't learned how to use it yet. I keep telling him I'll come over and help him, but
And
he's
Barry,
got some other issues right now. So
yeah,
Rick has a CNC machine, but I don't think he has the laser.
you're right.
I don't know if he has a laser, but it's easy to learn. I mean, it's not a lot to it. There's a lot to the software, but once you figure out what you're doing, there's a lot of features that you don't ever use, you know? Because they make so many different kinds of layers. There's CO2 lasers, there's fiber lasers, there's diode lasers, and each one kind of has its own features and setup within the software. So I have a diode laser. It's fairly simple. It's like using a printer.
Dave, I'm getting a message on mine that says your network bandwidth is low.
That would be
Well,
yours. If
my
you're-
testosterone levels are, wait, that's too much information. It's probably because I'm out in the garage. So yeah.
Mark, I like your picture because your little dog or coyote on the shelf behind you, it's got his head raised up and it looks like it's trying to eat the cord on the blinds.
You're right. It does kind of look like that, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, the coyote. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just
He's
teasing him, that's all. Give him a little snack.
howling at the moon, I guess, huh?
When you're doing your signature, is it best to put it inside the foot or outside, or does it matter?
I typically do mine inside. And when I do mine inside, the bowl sets on a higher level. So that surface never makes contact with whatever you're setting it on. The
I
other
always
thing,
do the inside for the same reason also.
the other thing that I do is when I'm turning, I'll take a sharp pointed tool and put a couple of rings as a guide to do the signing. That way I know I sign inside or in between those two rings. That has a tendency to keep it a little more even going around.
There's another reason to put those rings on the bottom. It just adds a little visual. Everybody's going to pick up a bowl and look at the bottom to see what the signature is. And that just adds a little more visual excitement or professionalism, I guess, if you put a couple of rings on the bottom.
So hey guys, I'm gonna drop out because this Zoom keeps dropping out. And apparently my levels are low.
All right.
I haven't checked.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay, it was a pleasure. Nice to see all you guys. Thanks for all the great ideas.
Bye, Dave. The other Dave's probably tired. What is it, 2 a.m. now?
Oh, every bit of that. Maybe coming up on 3.
You're muted.
Oh, you mean in
nearly half
Australia?
past, nearly 2:30.
2:30.
Yeah. And the eyelids are getting heavy, so I might bulk too.
Thank you very
Good
much
to
for the
see
extra
you.
effort to join us.
Good to
Yeah.
listen.
Delighted to have you join us today, Dave. Thank
No
you.
worries. I'll see you again one day.
Good.
Okay,
Okay.
You're welcome anytime.
All the best. Thank you.
see ya.
Bye. See you, Ken and Kathy, in about 6 weeks.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll be visiting Australia in that time period. Going to be seeing Dave down there.
Mhm.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye.
Well, thanks for the tips. I appreciate it.
Susan, it looks like you have a good helper there off of your shoulder.
Yeah, she's bugging me. She keeps like, you're ignoring me. And then I have another one sitting in front of me. My little babies that I rescued, they're not little babies anymore. They're pretty big.
Well,
Yeah.
very
Cute.
sweet.
I had these guys since they were about 5 days old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, their eyes weren't opened yet, so I fostered them and I ended up keeping them. Whatever.
Oh, very sweet.
Put too much time and effort in them. But yeah, Snickers, she's bugging me, so she's like, come on. But so yeah, so I just, since I don't have any type of wood burning yet, with the pens, like on this one, it has the grains that go this way. If I
Yes.
use like a acrylic pen or a lacquer pen, that I have to be careful on if it bleeds into the grains, don't I?
No, not with the pen that I use. I don't
Okay.
have any trouble with it bleeding at all.
And Susan, if you're going to use a pen, you should go ahead and put a finish on first.
First.
Yes.
Yeah, I learned on this bowl that because I had it really, really smooth because I used like a 600 grain, and then I put a spray shellac, but that peeled right off. That's what I've been doing is picking the shellac off because it peeled off.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so I've been sitting here getting it off with my fingers. So I have to go resand and maybe I'll just oil it.
Yeah, and with a pen, I've signed stuff I've oiled and stuff I put a lacquer coat on.
Okay.
Either way.
Why would shellac peel off like that?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it did. It didn't do it on this one. I mean, this is fine, but on this wood, it just a little bubble, and I'm like, "What's that?" And then I went boop, and I'm like, "Uh-oh, well, something different."
I've never experienced it, but I've had people tell me and read about by going to your 600 grit, it may be too smooth for the finish to adhere very well. But this is the first time I've heard of that actually happening to anybody that I know. So that may or may not be related. You may want to a little bit more if you're going to, well, if you go to an oil finish, it probably won't make any difference. But if you were to put more shellac on, you might have to resand it down to something like 320 grit.
I have not had that happen to me, Susan, but the only other thing I might think of is maybe when you sanded all the dust, all the dust maybe was not completely taken off. I usually use some compressed air to get that off, and then I get some denatured alcohol and wipe it off to make sure that I get all of the dust off of there, so that I'm just going directly onto the wood. So I don't know. I can't think of any other reason, other than what Ken mentioned, just maybe, too fine. I sand to 600 grit and it always works for me. So,
Yeah.
I think that's a very good observation, Mark. It could be some dust on there and that would not be able to adhere. I like your idea of following after wiping it off, blowing it off, and then actually wiping it with some denatured alcohol. I haven't done that, but I like that idea.
yeah, it works. Yeah. And you know what? I was always amazed how much, when you try it, you put the denatured alcohol on a cloth and then wipe it on the bowl. And I look at that cloth and I go, wow, that was a lot of stuff is still was on that bowl. And so anyway, you might give it a shot.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of
Yes.
wiping off the dust, one thing I read about, and I've been using is that some professional furniture maker who has to do this for a living had discovered that using the microfiber cloths to wipe off dust is far more effective than any of the other fabrics. Somehow it picks up the dust better and keeps it on the cloth rather than on the wood. So I've been using that. You can pick those up real cheaply at Harbor Freight, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, and while we're on that subject, there's certain cloths that are good and others are not. I always get a package of cloth at Home Depot or Lowe's or something, but I make sure that it says lint free. You don't want any kind of lint that's going to get on there. So lint free. And then these big sheets that come like that, and I get scissors and just cut them so that I end up with small patches, because I don't want to use that whole package. Once you use it, that shellac or whatever you're using dries on there, you can't use it anymore. So I cut those small patches and it saves a lot. It's much easier to handle. So just another
When you cut them, does that introduce lint back into it?
No. I have not found it for me anyway, but it works for me.
Good.
So
I use old t-shirt material, but I found that 100% cotton doesn't work as well as the 60-40 mix of cotton and polyester. For some reason, it doesn't fray or leave the excess threads on the 60-40 that you can get off the 100% cotton. So when I apply a finish, I use that as the applicator.
I just use the old t-shirts or a polishing cloth when I'm applying some wax. After I put all the finish on and it's cured, then I put a coat of a wax on it. And that's when I use the old t-shirt or polishing cloth. There's a retail polishing cloth you can buy. So
What else we got this morning? All right. Well, that being the case, I thank you one and all for sticking around. Thanks everybody that joined.
Thanks
lot of
for
good
Thanks,
information
Bruce,
this
for
morning.
hosting today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very educational this morning, Bruce. Good
Mhm.
job.
I thought it was too. I picked up quite a few things.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Uh,
Thanks, everybody.